the next one up, man, this is like quarterback day, and I appreciate this. Simpson was finally named the starter of Alabama. After speculation, if it was going to be him, if it was going to be Keelan Russell, even SEC media days where they were just kind of keeping this under wraps, and Kalen really took his time with this, and I have a couple reactions to this. Is, why did it take so long, right? Like, is it really a good thing to wait this late? What is a strategic move around this? I don't know. I mean, why do you think it took him so long? Was it really just that tough of a battle, or was it just one of those strategic things for him that he tends to always do?
I mean, I think that one, it's Kalen DeBoer doing his due diligence and just making sure that he is making the right call. I mean, we both have very high opinions of Alabama this year, and if you make the wrong decision at quarterback in terms of who to start, all that could go out the window, right? Not to mention you're installing, for the players at least, a new offensive system, right? With Ryan Grubb coming in from the Seahawks. So for Kalen DeBoer, he knows the system, right? But these players don't. It's new for everyone, even Simpson, who was here with Coach DeBoer last season. So it's a new scheme. That means that essentially, right, everyone is starting at ground zero. You don't have anyone who has really played a significant amount of snaps or meaningful snaps, right? You look at Simpson, yeah, he's played here and there, but Jalen Milroe has been the cemented starter for the last 2 years. Simpson hasn't been given his own shot, really. And so when you pair an inexperienced quarterback with a very talented, high-profile freshman in Keelan Russell, pair both of them with a new offensive scheme and an offensive-minded head coach, to me, the reason it took so long is just like it really was anybody's game. And Kalen DeBoer did really just want to make the best decision for his team and make it clear that, hey, either of y'all can win this. I'm going to give you every opportunity to. But at some point, right, he obviously felt good enough with Simpson. He saw enough to say, I believe in you. You're the guy. So I think it was a combination of those things. I don't view it as like a bad sign. Like, oh, Simpson, it took him that long to beat out a true freshman. Like, I'm not really viewing it that way. Because look, Russell is a very talented quarterback. Even though he's a freshman. I mean, we've seen plenty of guys who are very young, light up the league very early on. We've seen that really since Jameis Winston and Johnny Manziel really took the country by storm in their redshirt freshman seasons. So much respect to Russell for the way that he's been pushing Simpson, but the way I see it, man, there's just a lot of change, for that offense. And I think they're just trying to be very careful because they recognize that this is a big year for them as a team and as a program.
Yeah, I think Keelan Russell's going to be better because of this too, because he understands, like, man, I was on the cusp of like starting for a premier program. And so being in a room of a guy that obviously had seniority over a lot of those guys, like waiting his turn, which has always been the Alabama way, right? Like, we don't really get to know these quarterbacks until either their redshirt junior years or their senior years every single year at Alabama. And they tend to turn out really, really well to go off to the NFL or to, at least get to the next level where they're supposed to be. And so it's kind of cool that Kalen is keeping on with that tradition. The guy that's been here, the longest is the one that's going to get the burn, right? So it's happened almost every single year. So I think Keelan will be better because of that. I think Keelan is also outside of Bryce Young, right? Like Bryce Young was like the anomaly, but everybody knew that Bryce Young was good. Like coming over, he played in Mater Day, right? So like coming over from Mater Day and doing what he did there and having all the hype, like that was like the anomaly that broke everybody at Alabama, but rightfully so. The guy ends up winning the Heisman, high profile pick in the draft for the NFL. So maybe 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 can be that in his second year, but who knows? So that's like one of the things that I think is really good about this. And how long did Ty know before everybody else knew? Before 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 confirmed this, he might have known during the spring period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀 has kept this under wraps is great. And it obviously helps. It helps with the fact of the only thing that people are talking about with Alabama is the quarterback competition and not anything else, right? Like, if I don't have any other question marks about my team other than my quarterback competition, a lot of people just definitely don't know what we're about to do this year. So it can maybe be a genius game plan. And then also on the other side of that, is this a good game plan to keep him on the fringe quarterback like Keelan Russell on the roster past the spring portal period? Let's think about that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go in and I say, man, I have a great quarterback on my roster. Everybody's entering the transfer portal in the spring portal period. It's just how it is. They don't have to wait. They can go off to other teams. We've seen it with Nico and Joey and all these other guys. But I like Keelan. I got to keep him here. This will be great. I kind of have to stranglehold him. What's the best way I can do it? By saying that there's a quarterback competition and not really lying to him, because it actually is, but whisper to him every once in a while sweet nothings, right? Like, I know in my heart of hearts Ty is going to be my guy. Like, it's just the smarter move to do. We believe in him. He's been here since I've been here, and he knows how to compete in the SEC. Keelan's the young guy that obviously is probably more talented and probably could win us that game that we think that they're going to lose, this season, but against Georgia. But one of those things that is also a genius game plan, if he did, is I see a lot of people entering the transfer portal. I need to keep Keelan here.
Yeah.
This is the only time that you could transfer as a spring. I'm going to just say it's a competition to keep both of these guys on the roster. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the starting quarterback for Alabama? So, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, maybe 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀 is just playing a game that nobody else is used to yet. And hopefully there's no FBS coach that is listening to me talk about this, because don't do what 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑀's doing. But it would just be, I would love to ask 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 after he retires from football to say, you remember that Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell situation? Did you keep him there not to enter the transfer portal? And if he says yes, that would be one of the greatest switcheroos that we've heard in college football. Of like one of the greatest strategies he used is that I noticed way too many guys are entering the spring portal and it just totally ruins teams. But I needed everybody to know on the roster that anybody could start tomorrow. Like everybody had a close battle. So, good on Ty, man. I think as far as our prediction, we were hoping that it was Ty because of
he stuck it out.
He stuck it out. He understands 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑀. He understands guys like Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard and Jen Miller's coming back and Caden Proctor and all those guys. So he knows what it's like to be the quarterback at Alabama. And so that was a thing that we talked about during our prediction is like, if it's Keelan, I don't know. But if it's Ty, I think they're in a really good spot to move their team forward and win in 11 games. Or, a lot of people was in our comment section be like, they're not going to lose against Georgia. And it's like, this could be the year that Georgia comes in and smacks them, but loses 3 games on their own. Everything is just unpredictable in the SEC. I mean, how do you think about this, man? Like, it's so hard to win with the college football playoff in the way that everybody plays everybody except for the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to see an undefeated team that comes from these big conferences anymore? I don't know.
I mean, I think so. Like, you absolutely could. I would argue that it is, in a way, easier to go undefeated with all of these bigger conferences because your schedule is essentially more diluted, right? Like, generally some of these conferences are adding, like you look at the SEC. I'm not saying that everyone's schedule got easier because you add Texas and Oklahoma. But when you look at it right, in the ACC, for example, adding SMU, Cal, Stanford, right? We know that SMU is a good team. Cal and
Mm-hmm.
Stanford, they're probably two of the bottom teams in the conference at this current point in time. You look at a team like a Clemson, a maybe a Miami, and you also consider how Florida State has kind of fallen off a little bit. Now you're not playing the same competitive teams year in and year out because you don't have divisions. Your schedule is constantly changing from one year to the next. So
Right.
I think it purely depends on the conference, but I think that you could see, um if a schedule is favorable, I think that it is, you'll see it. However, most of these team schedules, to your point, just got a whole lot harder because you look at Georgia, for example. Objectively, the SEC East was really just whoever won between Florida and Georgia most years, right? And then the West was, is it Auburn? Is it LSU? Is it Bama? I mean, Texas A&M was competitive some years. Like, Ole Miss is competitive some years. Like, there was a large imbalance between the two. Oh, and maybe Tennessee, right, in the
Mm-hmm.
East. But like,
Yep.
you really had one stronger division and one weaker division where it was a lot easier to kind of get out undefeated when you're in the SEC East and the SEC West. Now, right, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee don't have that luxury anymore, right? You have to truly run the full SEC gauntlet with Texas and Oklahoma added into the mix. So I think generally you're completely right. Like, from the SEC, I would be shocked within the next 3 or 4 years if we saw an undefeated team, you know, from the Southeastern Conference. I think you could argue the same from the Big Ten maybe as well. Um, but I do think that with the ACC also having grown a little bit, I think you could see some from there, especially if Clemson's able to regain their national prominence, right? Which we think that they can absolutely do. But for a team like Alabama specifically, man, it's not a walk in the park. Like, you can't just say, man, we got to play all of these teams and then go play Georgia on the road in the middle of the season and be like, oh, but we always beat them, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, look,
Yeah.
to a degree in football, you can only use the past to justify future predictions to a certain point, right? Like, you can say, yes, we've dominated them in recent years, and use that can be a pretty solid indicator of what's to come, but you can't just ignore all other context and say, well, we've beaten them, so we're just going to do it again, when Georgia is a team who has consistently been excellent over the last few years, and you're going into their house and you had an insane meltdown as soon as you barely beat them at home last season. Like, like you can't ignore the context if you're Alabama here. Um, I don't know, man. I tend to think that this whole we're gonna run the table, we're not gonna lose to Georgia thing is a little silly. As good as I think Alabama's gonna be, but again, to your point, when you look at the SEC and you look at the schedules of an Alabama and a Georgia, right, the Ole Miss, Florida, these top teams, realistically, I don't know when the next time is that we're going to see one of those teams go undefeated in the regular season. So,
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, if it was anything like last year, man, how many teams took 2 or 3 losses that we were like, wow. I mean,
I mean, even the national champions won or lost 2 games. They lost to Oregon in the regular season. They lost to Michigan in the final week of the regular season. Like, and they ended up being the best team in college football. They beat Texas in a very sound game. Then they exercised their demons against Oregon and
yep.
beat them, right?
The second time
And
around,
then they had to beat arguably the hottest team in college football in Notre Dame. And they controlled the game for most of it. So yeah, losing 1 or 2 games now, you can still be considered a title favorite, a title contender. Gone are the days of undefeated teams every season, and those teams being really the only contenders for a natty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that with Oregon. They were undefeated going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Right. And the first game or the second game they played, or no, it was the first game they played. Yeah, they lost to Ohio State before Ohio State played Texas. But yeah, like I don't see Alabama running the table. I think they run into trouble somewhere. But it does get me thinking, right? If Ty Simpson ever struggles, how much pressure, how much struggle does it take for Kalen DeBoer to put in Keelan Russell, right? I don't know. Is it against Georgia and Samford? Is it earlier on in the season? Is it at home in a controlled environment against a team that you should beat rather than another top 5 team? I don't know, man. It's just, if it took, like kind of what we were saying earlier, it took this long for him to announce who was going to be the starting quarterback. In my mind, I like to think that means that it was like an actual competition. And if there was an actual competition, if Ty Simpson struggles, does Russell, get thrown into the fire? Because we did see that with Jalen Milroe after he struggled against Texas in 2023, right? It was suddenly, I believe both Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner got opportunities to play. I believe Tyler Buckner started the next week against USF, where for a while Alabama was on the upset alert. So,
well, a little bit that had to do with Tommy Reese coming down there and bringing his boy with him.
It absolutely was that. And I get that it's also a new coaching staff, but we've kind of seen, at Alabama, the last time there really was a true 2 or 3-way quarterback battle in the offseason, we saw that, initially guys had some pretty short leashes. And, week 1, look, I do think Alabama, takes care of business against Florida State. But on the road, if Simpson's rattled, maybe we see the freshman.
Oh, you think so? You think they're going to beat? No, they're going to beat the dog piss out of us. I already know. I think Tommy Castellanos has walked himself into a corner he's never going to get out. I'm getting called a fake fan in our comments. It's hilarious. Just because I don't rock with every single quarterback that we have. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
We should have never got rid of 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀.
That is facts. Letting him leave was a big mistake.
I don't understand. It's like I can't never have nothing nice, man. Why can't I have anything nice?
Hey, I heard Jimbo wants to get back into coaching, so
bring him back.
Bell gets booted.
Bring him back.
He'll bring loads of 5 stars. Just don't know what he'll do with them.
Hey, bring him back. Build the damn facilities for the football team and every other sport that he wanted. And we'll see. I don't know if did you see the podcast that he was on where he said he never wanted to leave?
Oh yeah.
I believe that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he was on top of the world for a little bit there. I mean, it was like he was the next big thing. He was supposed to be the one to challenge Nick Saban. He was. He obviously, he was the first of Saban's former assistants to beat him, but let's be honest, he didn't truly challenge him. Kirby Smart was the one who, if anyone can say that he came the closest to dethroning Saban, but
yeah. Angela says, I'm about to go to the opening game of UNLV next weekend, then go to the opening home opener of the Washington Huskies the following weekend. So I'm wondering how Washington feels about Kalen. They're feeling good because they have Jedd Fisch as their head coach. Believe me, it's not going to take – this is the year that you're going to see Damon Williams come in and do a lot of good for Washington. If anything, Jedd Fisch is known for is making bad quarterbacks good quarterbacks. And I'm not saying Damon is a bad quarterback. He just was he was kind of left in the dust after Kalen left. Ask Noah Fafita how he's doing. right? Without Jedd Fisch his first year. I can tell you right now, me and Khalid thought they were going to be dog shit last year. We
Washington?
We didn't think, we were not believer, regardless of what,
No.
how we felt about Jedd Fisch. They lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he made them a good team. Still beating Michigan. We watched that game where it was like, okay, Jedd Fisch is, it's one of those ones. Now, we haven't done the breakdown on Washington yet. Washington's one of those teams, or any team that we do a breakdown on their schedule is totally chosen at random. Like, I literally put the name in the wheel and it chooses a team out of the Power Four. So maybe in the next couple, well, we only got 2 more weeks, so maybe there'll be one of the teams we do in the next couple weeks. But I definitely want to do that earlier in the year, next year, so we can get more teams in, because I think that's fun. We just go through the schedule and give it to you. I was wondering what your thoughts are, 𝗲𝘂𝘀, this year. I don't know. I mean, we haven't really seen him play. I mean, if Kalen felt really high about him, if 𝗲𝘂𝘀 was talked to not transferring by Jedd Fisch, I think I feel pretty good about his chances of being really good this year, because those are 2 high-profile coaches.
Oh yeah, and considering how Austin Mack transferred from, like, flipped his commitment, you know, he was gonna go to Washington and ended up signing with Bama too. Like,
yeah,
maybe that says something about how he felt about Demond Williams.
Yeah.